I told you that don't take lightly. Didn't I told you that?
Didn't go for it. So okay, now we are sharing screen. Today we are going to be reading and listening to Pinocchio, this very famous fairy tale. So we will first watch the story and learn about the vocabulary. So,
Pinocchio.
so that was the story of Pinocchio, and we're getting into the vocabulary words. So the first one is used to, and used to refers to something that was done regularly in the past but doesn't happen anymore. For example, I used to play soccer every Saturday, but now I don't have time. You can see before and now. He used to have a car before, but he has a motorcycle now. And he used to be fat, but he is not anymore. So in the story, it said he used to make wooden toys and sell them. So Geppetto used to make wooden toys. The next word is phrases be fond of. And be fond of means to like or enjoy something a lot. For example, she is fond of reading books in her free time. So basically enjoying or liking a lot. So in the story, it said all the kids were fond of his toys. So all the kids liked his toys really much. And the next word is attractive. And attractive means something or someone that looks good or is pleasing to the eyes. So, for example, she is very attractive because of her kind smile. And in the story, it is used to describe the toys. So the toys looked very attractive, meaning that they were very beautiful, and it made many kids want to buy the toys. After attractive, the next word is treat. And treat means to behave towards someone in a particular way or to act in a certain way with them, especially in how you show kindness or respect. Basically, acting in a way that you show your kindness. So, for example, he always treats his friends with kindness. So, treating someone, meaning doing something for someone. So you can see in these pictures, he is treating her with foods, and on the right, this person is treating someone better. So in the story, was used to say, whom I treat like my child. So, Geppetto probably, um, in the story, said, I will treat like my child, which he said when he was probably making Pinocchio. Um, he said he will treat, meaning to act, and um, act towards the wooden toy like a child. The next word is carve, And carve means to cut or shape something, usually out of wood, stone, or other material, by making small cuts. So, for example, he carved a beautiful sculpture out of wood. So this is kind of how the sculpting process works. And so by carving them. So both on the left and the right, these people are carving wood. They need to slowly cutting away pieces to shape something. So in the story, Geppetto, because he wanted a child, his son, he started to carve the wood because he was a toy maker and he used to cut woods and make toys. So he was very good at carving them. The next word is puppet, and a puppet is a figure often made of wood, cloth, or other material that is controlled by someone, usually by hands or strings, to make it move and act like a person or an animal. So again, there are these things, puppets where you can hold them by your hands, and these sort of dolls that you can make it move. So on the right, it's probably attached by a string, but it can also be held with your hands, like on the left. So, for example, the children watched the puppet show with excitement. And on the right, this is the puppet show. And you can see this sort of mini stage with a bunch of strings that control the puppets and make it move so that they look like real people. And of course, Geppetto created this beautiful puppet boy, and Pinocchio was a puppet. The next one is noble, and noble means being honorable, kind, and generous. And it can also refer to someone from high social or royal class, but it usually means being honorable and kind. So, for example, he made a noble decision to help the homeless. And on the right, you can see she is noble by helping this other elderly woman. And you can see that it means honorable and kind. So in the story, it said, I reward you with a special gift for your noble work. And again, Geppetto's noble work is making children happy and by selling toys, and that is a very kind and honorable work. So it is a noble work. The next phrase is remind someone of something. So remind someone of something means to make someone remember or think about something from the past. So for example, the song reminded her of her childhood. So this is in the format of remind someone of something. In this case, the song reminded her of her childhood. And this is kind of like the format that you used in order to mean someone remembering about something in the past. So in the story, it said, you remind me of my childhood, son. So Pinocchio reminded Geppetto of his childhood, make him remember. The next word is disturb, which is a verb, but there is also a noun form of disturbance. It's good to know. But disturb means to upset or make someone stop what they are doing. So, for example, don't disturb me, I'm reading. You can see on the left, this person is disturbing this person. And you'll often see a sign that says do not disturb, meaning that do not upset or Do not touch it basically means the same thing. In the story, it said, do not disturb him, surprise him in the morning, meaning that Pinocchio should not bother Geppetto. The next word is stationery. And stationery refers to materials used for writing, such as paper, pens, pencils, and other supplies. So, for example, I need to buy some stationery for school, like notebooks and pens. So, all of these are stationaries. You can see pens, pencils, scissors, papers. All of these are stationaries, which are materials used for specifically for writing. So in the story, it said Geppetto um, brought the money to buy school stationery because Pinocchio wanted to go to school. Geppetto had to go buy school stationery for him because he needs things to write with. And the next kind of word is tear. So tear is a present tense. This is kind of like the present past and past participle. So tear, tore, and torn. So they are all different forms of the same verb, which means to break something into pieces by pulling or ripping it. So tear means to rip or break something, which is present tense. Tore and past tense, meaning it happened in the past. So something was ripped or break in the past. And torn, just past participle, is used with have or had to talk about something that has already been ripped. So again, tearing in general, like in the picture, it's like tearing a paper, ripping it, or breaking it. But there are other verb forms to represent something happened in the past and something that has already done in the past. She's torn. This is only one of many vocabulary words that have this past tense and past participle because there are different words, different pronunciations, but the same meaning. So in the story, it was used to say it's too old and torn now. So it used torn. See, it's the past participle form. It has already been teared and broken. Next word is on one's way to. And on one's way to means someone is going somewhere or is in the process of traveling to a certain place. So, for example, I was on my way to the store when I saw a friend. You can see on both pictures they are on their way, this person to a goal and to the top of the stair. They're on the way, meaning going somewhere or in the process of going somewhere. So in the story, it said Pinocchio got on his way to the school with joy. So on someone's way, on his way, um, Pinocchio was in the process. Continue. So
Can you hear me?
yes, can you hear me?
David,
Yes, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? I will continue doing it. So
Yes, you can continue.
I think we can start back on waves.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
so
Hey,
on its way to means
keep
someone
quiet.
is going somewhere or is in the process of traveling to a certain place. So, for example, I was on my way to the store and I saw a friend. And both these people in the picture are on their way to a certain place. The story it said Pinocchio got on his way to the school with joy. And the next word is perform, which is a verb, but it can also be a noun of performance. Perform means to do something, especially an action or task, or to entertain people. So, like acting, singing, dancing, all of those are performing to people in order to entertain them. So, for example, the band will perform at the night concert. So, you can see there are different band groups, and they are both performing. So, on the left, they're performing their song by singing, and on the right, they're performing their dance. So all of those are perform, meaning to um, act or do something to entertain people. Then, then here in the story, it said a magician was performing the magic show. Again, magic show is a sort of entertainment. So you perform a magic show to people for them to see. The next phrase is instead of. So instead of means choosing a one thing in place of the another. So you do one instead of the other. So, for example, she had tea instead of coffee this morning. So you have to either choose one or the other. So she had tea instead of coffee, meaning to choose tea in place of coffee. So she didn't have coffee, but rather had tea. So she had to choose one or the other. In the story, it said, why did you come here then instead of going to school? So the ringmaster asked Pinocchio um, why he didn't go to school, um, why he came to the circus in place instead of going to school. The next word is rob, and rob means to take something from someone without asking, usually by force. So, for example, the man robbed the store and took all the money. So again, you can see in these sort of pictures, there's threatening them with a weapon, and then they're stealing them and they're robbing them. So again, robbing is just taking someone or it's taking something without asking by force. You can see in these pictures. In the story, it said, this boy looks foolish, we can rob him. So they are planning to rob him, meaning to steal by force. The next word is furtively, and furtively means doing something in a secret or sneaky way, trying not to be noticed. So, for example, he furtively looked at his phone during the meeting. Again, the pictures both doing something furtively. The left, she's eating something furtively, not trying to be noticed. On the right, the thief is furtively trying to get away, meaning in a sneaky or secret way. In the story, it said, Fox furtively ran away without being noticed. So secretly ran away without being noticed, of course. And this phrase, without being noticed, um, means doing something without anyone seeing or paying attention to it. So furtively and without being noticed all connects well together. So for example, he left the room without being noticed. And it is used in the same sentence in the story. The fox furtively ran away without being noticed. This is kind of the definition of furtively. You can see right here the connection between the two phrases. And the next word is pit. And pit can refer to a large hole or deep hollow space in the ground. You can see in these pictures, they're both pits, like a space in the ground. And these, for example, the kids dug a pit in the sand to play in. So you can see digging a pit right here. So Pinocchio fell into a big pit. That is what it is. The next word is all of a sudden or suddenly. So all of a sudden means something happens quickly and unexpectedly. So for example, all of a sudden it started raining, or suddenly it started raining. All of a sudden and suddenly is the same thing. But all of a sudden, meaning in a phrase and suddenly as a word, something happening quickly and unexpected. So in the story, it said, all of a sudden the fairy appeared. All of a sudden is a really common phrase that people use to describe something that happened quickly and suddenly. You can use all of a sudden. The next word is ashamed. And ashamed means being bad or feeling bad or embarrassed because something you did or didn't do. So, for example, she felt ashamed for lying to her friend. You can see in these pictures, they're feeling ashamed, meaning embarrassed because of something you did. In the story, it said Pinocchio was ashamed and spoke to the fairy. Because he lied, his nose started growing, and he felt ashamed because of that. He felt embarrassed because of the lies he spoke. The next phrase is in a hurry. And in a hurry means needing to do something quickly because there isn't much time. So, for example, I'm in a hurry to finish my homework before dinner. Again, in a hurry is also a very common phrase that you use in English, and it just simply means to do something quickly because there isn't much time. So I'm in a hurry to do something. So in the story, it said, where are you going in such a hurry? So his friend was looking at Pinocchio and wondering why he's going such a place, why he looked like he was running out of time. The next word here is interrupt. And interrupt means to stop someone from speaking or doing something, usually by saying or doing something yourself. So, for example, please don't interrupt me while I'm talking. Probably what she is saying on the left. Do not interrupt me. And on the right, the kids are interrupting this person, which is probably their mother. So the kids are stopping someone from doing her task by doing themselves of something. In the story, it said no one to interrupt while playing and no studies. But they're going to Toyland and no one is there to interrupt them. No one is there to stop them. Next word is fishy, and fishy means something that seems strange, suspicious, or not quite right. So, for example, if something seems strange or suspicious, you can use fishy. So, the story he told sounded fishy, meaning the story that he told didn't sound right, was pretty strange and suspicious. In the story, it said there is something fishy with this place, meaning that something is wrong with this place and um, something is going on that he probably doesn't know about.
David, it looks like your voice is low this time around. Your
Sorry,
voice is low.
is this better?
Your voice is a bit lower than, so we can't hear you.
Okay, so I will try to speak a little bit louder. I hope this is better.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah, sure. It's better now.
okay. So in the story, it said there is something fishy with this place. Again, meaning strange and suspicious. But getting into the next word is lure, and lure means to attract or tempt something or someone, usually with the idea of tricking them. So, for example, the smell of fresh bread lured me into the bakery. Lure means to bringing in something with a certain idea, with a certain thing. So in this case on the left, this person is luring the fish with the bait, and on the right, the smell of um the cake is looks like a pie is luring him in. In the story, it said he lured kids with sweets and toys. Is the evil donkey traders, a mule trader who he sold the kids by transforming them into mules. But getting into transform, so transform means to change something completely, usually in a big or noticeable way. So for example, the artist transformed the old building into a beautiful gallery. So you can see on the left, this caterpillar is transforming into a butterfly, and this piece of block is transforming into a robot. So transforming meaning to change into something. So he then transformed them into the donkeys. After he lured kids in with the sweets, he then transformed them into donkeys, meaning to change them. The next word is gossip, and gossip means talking about other people, often because of their personal lives and sometimes sharing information that may not be true or is private. So basically talking about other people about what they're doing. So for example, they were gossiping about their friend's new job. So in both pictures, they are gossiping. meaning um talking about other people. So these people are talking about him, and these people on their left is probably talking about someone else.
I can hear you.
Okay, so I think we can continue the gossip because I think that's where we cut off. So, okay. So gossip means talking about other people. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Can continue.
Okay. So gossip means talking about other people, often because of their personal lives and sometimes sharing information that may not be true or is private. So gossip basically means talking about other people. So in these pictures, they're both gossiping on the left, telling something about other people. Um, on the right, these people are gossiping about him, probably. And for example, they were gossiping about their friend's new job. So talking about other people is gossiping. So in the story, it said he heard some gossip as he reached. So gossip's talking about Geppetto, probably. And the next kind of word or phrase is sink, sank, and sunk. These are, again, three verbs that um, are in present tense, past tense, and past participle. And sink, sank, and sunk are all forms of the verb sink, which means to go down below the surface of water or another liquid. Sink in present tense, which is happening now. Sank in past tense, happened in the past. And sunk is past participle, which means that it has already. Something has already been down. You can see here. The story it said, yes, and I've heard his boat sank in the storm. So here, sank is the second one. It's in the past tense. So his boat sank in the past. That's why they use the word sank instead of sink or sunk. The next phrase is feel guilty. And feel guilty means feel bad or ashamed because you did something wrong or hurt someone. So, for example, he feels guilty for breaking his friend's toy, meaning feeling ashamed. In the story, it said, hearing this, Pinocchio felt very sad and guilty, feeling ashamed. The next word is repel, and repel means to drive something away or make it go away, often because it is unpleasant or unwanted. So, for example, the strong smell of garlic can repel insects. You can see they're repelling it on the left, driving something away, and on the right, this is an insect repellent, meaning it drives insects away. So in the story, it said, as soon as Pinocchio repelled selfishness, in this sense, a repel means to kind of um, um, like get rid of. It basically is the same thing. Um, repelled, again, meaning to drive away his selfishness. You can think of it that way. Next word is swallow, and swallow means to make something go down your throat, usually food or drink. So, for example, she took a sip of water and then swallowed it. On the left is swallowing water, and on the right, this child is swallowing food. In the story, it said the whale swallowed him. That is how it is used. Next word is heap, and a heap means a large, often messy pile of something. So, for example, there was a heap of clothes on the floor. On the left, it's a heap of clothes, a pile, and on the right, it's a heap of dirt, a pile of dirt. In the story, it said they collected a big heap of wood and lighted it. So this pile is made of woods. They collected wood, so it's a heap of woods. The next word is duty, and duty means a responsibility or something you're expected to do. So, for example, it's my duty to help clean the house. It's your responsibility, it's your duty to become the best version. Do your duty, meaning to do what you're expected to do. In the story, it said, I'm your son, it's my duty to protect you. And finally, the last word is deed. And deed means an action, especially something important or good that you do. So, for example, helping the elderly woman is a kind deed, a certain action, often meaning good. The story, it said, if you do good deeds, the universe will always give back. So, doing good deeds, meaning doing good actions, their deeds. Okay, so that was the end of this vocabulary. We will quickly go through all of them to remind you. First word we studied was used to, this phrase. The next phrase is be fond of. We learned about that. We also learned about attractive and treat, carve, puppet, noble, remind someone of something, disturb or disturbance, stationary, just different verb forms of tear, which is tear, torn, and torn, all of the different forms. On one's way to, perform, performance, instead of, rob, furtively, without being noticed, pit, all of a sudden, suddenly, ashamed, in a hurry, interrupt, fishy, lure, transform, gossip, to different forms of sink, to sink, sank, and sunk, feel guilty, repel, swallow, heap, duty, finally deed. So, so do you guys have any other questions about the words that was used before I replay the story? Um, so
That's your
there's
question. You have a question relating to the words that you mentioned. Huh? You understand all the words? So I'll ask you a question. Petty, what is the meaning of it?
Was there any
What's
words
the word
that
petty?
you guys were confused
What is
about?
the meaning of that word? What's the meaning? Okay. Hello, JB.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes, you were asking them a question.
Yeah, so did they have a question about any of the words?
Okay, any of the words. You have a question? Huh? Come and ask. Come and ask. You can't hear from that direction. So come and ask. That one too is a problem. What word is that? Huh? What is the word? Fairy. Very. Fairy. The one at the top of the screen. Okay, JB.
Yes.
They were asked about fairy. One student was asking about fairy. What is the meaning of fairy?
Oh, okay. So
Fairy.
fairy is often in stories, in fairy tales. That is the reason why it's called a fairy tale. But fairy is not a real person. It's like an angel in the story. Um, a fairy can do a bunch of magics. You can see how this is the fairy on the right. You can see. She transformed Pinocchio into a wooden boy. So she's able to do magic and um she's again like an angel in the story. It's often a um often has like magical powers. Um and it's like a character in the story, not a real person. So that is who a fairy is. Like someone who can
All right.
magics.
Okay, any other? Any other?
Okay, so we can rewatch the story if there is no questions.
Pinocchio, beautiful toys for children.
Yeah, so I hope you guys like the story. And um today was the last sort of session meeting for this semester. And we will meet again on January 17th, where we start next semester. Oh, not much.